Well, it's not pretty. That's the verdict from the Financial Services Council on a report into the life insurance industry. The Reserve Bank and Financial Markets Authority review of 16 insurers revealed that some were charging customers for expired policies, selling policies that people couldn't legally use, and also had poor attitudes to fixing complaints and mistakes. Consumer New Zealand says insurers are doing an appalling job of addressing problems in the industry, and the government says it will fast-track changes to protect consumers as a result. The industry body, the Financial Services Council, represents 10 of the insurers that were scrutinised. I asked CEO Richard Klipin if he was embarrassed by the findings.
When you look at the industry, the role of the life insurance sector is to help New Zealanders manage risk in their lives, and that's done through insurance products in a range of different ways. And this sector has been under scrutiny, which we've absolutely welcomed, because ultimately we've got to do better by the consuming public of New Zealand. We play a really important role in their lives, and to the tune of $1.2 billion of claims paid last year, which is significant. There's clearly steps to do, and whether it's the governance piece to improve, whether it's the way we design and create products, through the way we manage our intermediary relationships,
okay.
There is a lot to consider in this report.
Let's address this head on. Let's go through some of the behaviours outlined in this report. Charging for expired policies, selling policies that could never legally be used by the people who purchased them, double dipping, charging for policies that people had switched or moved, and in one case, targeting vulnerable people, selling them products. I mean, how would you characterise that behaviour?
So, Lisa, like I say, this is not pretty reading in some cases, but I think you kind of, we've got to collectively look at the bigger picture and understand that insurance is important in people's lives, that the sector has evolved.
But that is the bigger picture. That is the bigger picture, Mr. Klipin.
Yeah, and look, the standards that we need to lift to have been clearly articulated by the regulators. And like I say, the industry's got a lot of work to do now to lift our game in the interests of all New Zealanders.
Did you know this stuff was going on?
Look, the Culture and Conduct Report through 2018 has shone a light on the way in which these businesses are run and the products and services that are created. And of course, issues have come to light that need to be fixed. So I think.
Did you know that this kind of activity was going on?
Look, the Financial Services Council represents 10 of the life insurers in the process, and I think what's important is we take the learnings out of this report to better forge an industry that's connected to consumers.
Well, here's the thing, Mr. Klipin. What is important to people who have bought these policies, what's important to them is whether you knew that this kind of shabby behaviour was going on. Did you know? Yeah.
So, Lisa, I think in the interests of the consumers, there are over 4 million different policies out in the marketplace that reflect over a long period of time. Consumers in New Zealand can and need to be well served by the industry. And the sector, like I say, has got a lot of work to do. Has there been conduct in some players around some products and services? Clearly, the report is telling us yes, and I think we've got to acknowledge that. And
okay, just to be clear, are you saying because of the size of the industry, the problems that have been identified aren't that bad relative to the size of the industry? Is that what you're trying to say?
Not at all. No, not at all. I think what's important for your listeners to understand is that these are large and complex businesses, and there are products and services that have been created over now many years. And of course, life insurance is a very long-term contract, and so there would be clients in New Zealand who would have held policies and bought them in the 70s and the 80s and 90s and so on. And of course, that was a completely different era in terms of how products and services were designed. So, no, we do not resile from the fact that there's a lot of work to do. We're not explaining away the complexity and the size of the sector for poor conduct.
Okay.
The sector has got a lot of work to do.
So, were you ignorant to these issues or willfully blind to them?
Lisa, I think you've got to understand that the sector has been a work in progress. Just last year, There's been a number of merger and acquisitions, and in fact that's in many ways the story of the sector, where businesses get established, they get bought and sold and so on. And so some of the issues that have come to light, may have been in businesses that were purchased now some time ago. So I don't think it's right to say, well, we're willfully blind. No, these are large businesses, and the regulators now pointed out work to do, and that's what we're focused on.
So why aren't these businesses getting the basics right, making sure the customer is getting all the information they need, making sure the customer is getting a policy which actually suits them and that they can use at some point? Because some policies were sold to people who could never use them. I mean, how can customers have any confidence in a life insurance policy that they hold today? If they've read this, how can they have any confidence?
Yeah, I think they can have confidence because, like I say, there's 4 million contracts in place, over $2.5 billion of in-force premium in the sector last year in 2017 into 2017, paid out $1.2 billion of claims. The report, the FMA report and the RB report, point to the fact that there's not widespread systemic issues, but they also point to the fact that there's a whole lot of work to be done, and there is some behaviour that totally needs to improve. And like I say, we don't resile from that. We absolutely take it front on. And,
well, Consumer New Zealand describes the way that insurers are doing their jobs in dealing with this as appalling, that you're doing appallingly.
Absolutely not. Whilst I obviously respect Consumer New Zealand, the sector is focused on helping New Zealanders manage and protect their wealth, and that's the task ahead. We've now had a mirror shined onto some of the issues, and whether it's governance and product design and so on, we are a work in progress and we have a lot of work to do.
Who are the insurers who have sold policies and charging for expired policies and not giving their customers their money back? Name some names. Who are responsible? Yeah,
I'm not going to, Lisa, I'm not going to name names.
Why not? If you want to shine a light on it, why not? Why not put it all out there? Be honest.
What I'm here to do is to tell your listeners that the Culture and Conduct Report has been very well received. We are absolutely listening. We know there are things that we need to fix, and the report's only just out. So naming and shaming is not something I'm going to do. What I am going to do is focus on how do we do better as a sector.
So you only want to shine a light on the bits that you want the public to know about. Is that where you're at?
Think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. But like I say, we do acknowledge as a sector that there's work to do, and we absolutely applaud the work of the RB and the FMA in working constructively with the sector. And we're now focused on working constructively to fix a number of these issues.
Do these insurers owe their customers an apology?
I think the members of the FSC absolutely owe their customers what they bought, and to be able to stand behind the risk that they've effectively taken on through their policies. And again, there is a lot of work.
I'm sorry, I'm just a little confused about that. Are the customers owed an apology or not? That was my question.
Yeah, so Lisa, like I say, I think if you tease into the report, issues around frontline staff and claims people are always, through the report, are very keen to serve their customers. There is no doubt that our members have a lot of work to do to regain the trust and confidence of the New Zealand consuming public, and this is a fairly confronting report. And like I say, it's just landed today, so we're digesting it, and there's plenty of work to be done.